Stage one, man. Basically, what I'm going to talk about is that recently, I don't know if you guys, I mean, I believe pretty much everybody that see this show has watched it. Like they recently introduced finally Ahsoka Tano on The Mandalorian, and we got the debut of Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano, and it was amazing. And if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. It's an amazing episode, and pretty much the whole internet is talking about it, but I want to take a different spin, a different take on this. And pretty much what I want to talk about is what makes a good, strong female character. One of the things that makes me start thinking about is because the debate of maybe comparing Ahsoka Tano to how Rey was, and how the fandom is divided because of all the things that are going on with the fandom, identity politics, lack of representation. I don't know, you name it. There's a bunch of arguments, excuses, or whatever you want to call it. But what I wanna point out is I'm not sure if this is exactly what's going on, and the reason why is because I'm a kid from the '80s. I don't know about you, Chris, but I was pretty much from that era. And
90s, baby.
I mean, yeah, 90s, but there's been a lot of influence from the 80s when it coming into the 90s. And I don't know about you, man, but there was a lot of strong female leads on that era. Like if I could start mentioning people, for example, I mean, and I can go all the way back to 1977, Star Wars, the first Star Wars that came out, New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Leia Organa, if you watch that movie right now, I mean, she was a strong female character. At least she wasn't taking shit from nobody. I mean,
so you're talking about. I mean, if I'm receiving it correctly, you're talking about what makes a strong female character who has a really great arc or story, and it doesn't revolve around them being a girl. Like,
yes and no. I just want to compare what's going on right now from what used to be back then. I'm pretty much trying to see if we can identify the issue, because like I was saying, I mean, we got Carrie Fisher as Leia Organa. If you watch those movies right now, she started pretty much giving Vader the business. To me, was pretty strong start for a woman on a movie. Yeah. Then we got, for example, Sigourney Weaver as Helen Ripley on Alien franchise, amazing strong lead. And then we got Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor on the Terminator.
Yep.
So we just don't have
one. There's even what's the name of Jamie Lee Curtis in like Halloween?
Yes.
Like there's a lot of good ones. You know what, man? It's funny. I think what I mean, it's a great topic, but I also think a lot of it has to do with how polarizing Star Wars made it. Like when the 7, 8, and 9 really kind of messed up. I think a lot of people. I mean, I think it. Rather not messed up. I think it started this conversation. Like I think a lot of people had this conversation because of the way that they structured Rey and Rose and some of those others. I mean, we don't have to critique that too much, but I definitely think.
I mean, but the argument is there's lack of representation. I just mentioned you 3. And they're pretty much amazing. So there's not just one example. This has happened through history on cinemas, and there've been a lot of strong female characters on the screen, pretty much being badasses, amazing badasses. Like pretty much, I'm a fan of all of these ladies. To me, they were like pretty much what a strong female lead should be, at least to me. I mean, I'm not a female. I'm a pretty much like the standard heterosexual guy.
You got to judge it only through your lenses.
Correct. So maybe I'm seeing it through my lens. Maybe I'm missing something, but I believe it's important for us to bring up the conversation. And I want to ask you, Chris. I want to ask you, what is to you, what makes to you like a good female lead, like in your eyes? Like, can you give me an example? I mean, and I believe you recently were one of the persons that recommended me the Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit, yeah. But I was trying to think in my head, and I'll answer the question, but I'm trying to think of ones like in my childhood or me growing up, and immediately I'm hit with like cartoons and stuff. So there was like Pepper Ann. I mean, and there was the cartoons in the 90s. A lot of the times they would make the girls the tomboys, like Angelica Pickles, you know. But I have a lot of like Sailor Moon was a badass, like she was, and I can even think of I didn't watch Xena, but
Alita, Battle Angel on the eighties.
Alita,
Yeah.
Zelda. Honestly, I mean, she's not the best lead, but yeah, what makes a strong female lead, or at least I mean, only just through my lenses. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have to approach this topic delicately, of course. But I always,
To
I
give
mean,
you
Queen.
to give you a little bit of context, man, and this is my opinion, and I want you
Oh,
to react to this. So I think the issue lies when pretty much you are writing this character. I believe they wanted to make sure that they portray this woman. I mean, at least in current era, in a way that they don't seem victimized at all, and sometimes for that reason they make it so perfect that they forget to make her human.
yeah. You know what? Actually, so that's I have my answer, and I don't
Mhm.
think I need it. I need to lean more into my area for that. And I'm gonna kind of dive into Marvel a little bit.
Go for it.
Captain Marvel was done okay. That's gonna be, I think, my like.
Canvas, like like
So I'm trying to say like it's like my baseline because Captain Marvel's fine, like, but she's not great. You know what I mean? Like she's kind of a forgettable hero, which is a little ups. I mean, with how powerful Captain Marvel is in the comics, when I was reading them, she's supposed to be like Marvel's Superman basically,
yeah.
and in the movies, I'm gonna tell you, and I ask for forgiveness from anyone that doesn't feel this way. But honestly, in watching Captain Marvel, they really shoehorned in this really weird kind of feminist scene, and I thought it was sweet. No. I'm sorry. Captain Marvel did it well. I'm thinking of Endgame, so I'm wrong. But that's gonna further my point. Captain Marvel is okay, but she's not outstanding. She didn't have any like really weaknesses like you're talking about. She didn't have a come up story, and I think that might be part of what makes a good strong female lead is just like any character, non-binary, whatever. I don't know. I
Hmm.
want them to learn lessons and not be perfect, and then get back up, and I kind of want them to struggle a little bit. I think that was done perfectly, like we talked about a couple weeks ago with Queen's Gambit.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the failures of Rey is that immediately she's perfect, and then she's just strong as shit the entire time, and that's not really that interesting. So I kind of like a rise story.
Exactly, like a hero's journey
A
to be
hero's
said.
journey. Hmm.
And there's something that I want to read to you, man. There's an article that I picked from Spark Press. I'm gonna put the link in the description below if anybody want to read it. And pretty much describes like pretty much the 6 points for you to create a strong female character. And the first one is give her flaws.
Yep.
And you just mentioned that right now. Like
Hmm.
like if you make it perfect, I mean, perfect. Nobody's perfect, first of all, and second of all, if they are, it's boring.
Yeah,
Period.
anybody.
Period. It is just like if you have everything that is needed to have since the beginning, then what is there to collect?
Oh, dude, I mean, really quick, you know who's great is
Yes.
Samus, man. Samus Aran. That is such a good one.
Oh yeah.
That would be.
I'm saying it's through history they have existed and they're there.
Mhm.
So what happened? Because right now we're getting this shallow of a shell female lead characters. When for example, a good one right now was Queen's Gambit and Ahsoka Tano. These people, this female leads have been built for years now. At least Ahsoka. And she didn't disappoint. A lot of people like her arc story because it's a hero's journey. It's a growth story. She overcome obstacles and she became stronger and came up from those stronger each time. So it's an interesting character. And when you compare it sadly to someone like Ray, there's so many things missing. Like for example, something else that they mentioned here is give her internal strength.
Yeah.
Not only physical, but mind and a strength of character too.
Outtalk
So
somebody, like, or whatever. Just
yeah,
outsmart someone else.
like they've been focused so much on trying to make girls equal as male characters, and
Right.
pretty much what I'm seeing is a lot of female characters that are just brute strength strong. Like you see Ray lifting like 40 rocks, and sometimes maybe I would like to see her being super smart and outsmart somebody, or just be strong on her beliefs, on her whatever she fights for. And probably that's actually better representation of her strength than just being, oh, look how many rocks can I lift.
You know what it is? I think, I mean, I could be totally off base here. I mean, it's my own opinion to have. But do you
Yeah.
remember there was like a period, maybe sort of like the early 2000s, like during like American Pie sort of era, where it was teenage boys trying to get laid and being idiots and just getting stoned. And like that
Yeah.
was like, there was like that wave of that because that was the group of people buying movie tickets at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be off base, and I hope I'm not. And if I am, I apologize. But I kind of feel like a lot of the people, like Generation Z, and sort of just the climate that we live in right now. I think that sort of, hey, the lead character is female. I think that sells tickets right now. You know, I think that's a Hollywood cash cow a little bit.
Probably, but going to that topic of those type of movies, the you know, the like the bad, what do you call it, like the college movies that they go
Yes,
to,
college kind of
like
movies.
for example, like Super Bad.
Yep.
Even though it was about male characters lead, which is these youngsters trying to get laid or whatever, usually they were after a girl, that they did all those things so they could basically hook up with a lady.
Yeah.
And if we do that backward, for example, it becomes, or it seems like a weakness. If you give a girl a story about her trying to focus on attract the male, sometimes sadly it gets seen like, oh, that's just not a strong female character because she's pretty much trying to get to this guy or whatever.
You know what I've seen a lot of, and I don't know if this is what it could be either, because you're right. Because I guess I don't get it. Is there's a subreddit. I don't know if you've seen the one, men writing women. Have you seen that subreddit?
No.
There's a genre on Reddit called men writing women,
Mhm.
and it's just like really, really awfully written.
Oh.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
It's you know a board of writers or whatever, and they're primarily all dudes, but they write in a female character, and it
Yes.
comes out pretty stupid, or at the very least not entertaining, or making us go, all right, like, okay, Ray's cool, I guess. Like, there's a, you know, I'm wondering if that could be it too,
I
if
don't
it's
know.
too many dudes.
That's weird because one of the pretty much the thing that they're saying on this article is also that if you want to write a strong female character, write her as if it was a man. Like that's one of the things that they actually give you as an advice.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
That I know, and I get it. I was kind of concerned about this one as well, but then they quote George R.R. Martin, which pretty much have written a lot of strong female leads. I mean, Game of Thrones, for example, and it says that he pretty much does that. He pretty much treat them as human. So when you talk about writing a character and treat it as a human, you treat it with her flaws and her shortcomings and whatever it is. But usually, you try that he says that, well, maybe trying to write it as a man also makes you detach her from the the standards of, hey, women's belong here and men's belongs there. And supposedly that helps them. Like I said, I'm not saying that these things are true. I'm just saying that, is this the way to do things? Is this correct?
I think there's still, I mean, like the Hollywood's old Jewish white dudes, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a Disney, and everybody has a perfect formula that has sold billions and billions over the years. And I think we're at that. Well, I don't know, man. You know, honestly, I mean, I'm happy to be fallible during this podcast. I don't really have that answer, dude. Like, I don't know. I'd love to know, but I don't know. I don't know what makes it, because honestly, like, I mean, going back to Star Wars, like, to me, Rose was like, I didn't understand why she was in the movie. Like, I didn't understand why she needed to be there.
Yeah.
I had my issues with Rey as well, but I didn't understand Rose. Versus, you go to Leia, you go to Jamie Lee Curtis, you go to Samus Aran. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't have that answer.
I think it's something worth exploring, because pretty much what we hear on the street is that, no, you're against this and that because it's a woman. And basically my point on this topic is, not necessarily. There's a lot of amazing woman leads that I adore, that I I have those movies in my collection, and I adore those movies. So I don't think the problem lies on or it's X or Y woman versus man on this scene or whatever.
Um,
It's mostly, I believe, how they are being written or how they are being presented, because it's I believe it's the formula to get right a strong female character, and you gotta give her all this ingredients to make it strong. Like one of them, for example, it's give her a backstory.
yeah.
I believe that was one of the main issues that I had with Ray, that I just didn't know where she came from for the most part of the movie. At the end of maybe the Last Jedi was like, oh, she just basically the daughter of traders, and that was it.
No, yeah, they just threw it in.
You see what I'm saying? We're pretty much in the second movie. The movie ends, and we pretty much left that movie thinking, still, who is this girl? And to me, that's a problem.
I know I agree that it's a problem too, because if you think of everyone that you brought up and that I brought up in the beginning, you know, for every Ripley, for every Xena, there's gonna be 1,000 RoboCops and 1,000 Wolverines. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just I really think I'm not, dude. I'm totally right on that. Like, I think we've been riding this wave of not diversity, but like representation and inclusion. And movies and cinema have been historically male. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, there's no denying about that. I'm not saying that, oh, the women are always being represented. No,
no. I'm not saying you're saying. I'm saying I think it's affecting writing. I'm saying that
Probably.
I think trying to break that mold is causing lazy writing.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I think it's because they just want to make up for all this pretty much pastime that probably women were not dominating on the big screen. And that's the reason why I think they're just pretty much writing down these characters that are pretty much perfect in every way, because they don't want them to be felt as victims at any moment. And I believe that's a problem, because I think that we need, if we're gonna follow somebody through their journey, I think we need to feel that their flaws and their pain and overcome those obstacles with her. It doesn't mean that she's gonna be weak because at one point of the movie she's having struggles overcoming something. I think that just by showing us that, let us pretty much engage more with this character. And when he overcomes that, it's just pretty much growing us. So it's I believe it's impatient, man. It's just impatient of showing those little flaws, so we can fall in love with these characters.
You know what's a great one before we get away with it, and it's recent too, is the remake or the reboot of the Invisible Man. Did you see that?
I think I saw the trailer, man. I haven't seen the movie.
I mean, if you're talking about a good lead who's female and has issues for being a female, that one is done great. She's very vulnerable during the movie. She has a struggle. She has a story. She has a villain. She has an uprising. That's a good one, and I think that's a 2019 film, maybe 2018. That's a great one. But I mean, I don't know. It sucks that it's, like I said, 1 for every 100 or whatever, because I'm really enticed by Queen's Gambit and
Yeah, I believe there's
Ahsoka and everybody, you know.
we deserve more of this. I believe
Yeah.
there's plenty of space and plenty of chances for more women to step up to the plate. I mean, look at Gina Carano. Look at Rosario Dawson now with Ahsoka. I pretty much the whole Mandalorian thing has like mostly great female leads. Like we got Bo-Katan, we got Cara Dune, we got Ahsoka. You see what I'm saying? That this is not a pattern, and this is written by men.
That's what I think a lot of, I don't know, man. I think that's part of the issue, but it's also been like that forever, and I think it's really trying to break that, because, dude, a lot of the Disney princesses, especially the early ones, fucking suck. Like, Jasmine does not have a story at all, dude. She's literally just there so that Aladdin can fall in love. Like, I mean, and it's all characters that little girls are looking up to and stuff. Cinderella,
and you might have
a shoe. I don't know.
You might have hit the nail on the head, man. Pretty much. I believe Disney's trying to make up for all this past, clueless mistakes of portraying pretty much woman as the princess that needs to be safe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And maybe now in movies we're just having a lot of these semi-perfect female characters, so they don't seem like they're victimizing these characters at any moment during the movie, which makes the movie boring and which makes the movie shallow, because if there's no growth, then we hate the movie. We don't hate the character. Well, we kind of don't like the character because it's not well written, but we hate the movie and we hate the character. We don't hate the female. We don't hate the actress.
No,
and I believe that's the issue.
I hate the writing, man. Yeah, I think it's a big fear of maybe being boycotted or being canceled or whatever it is.
Probably, I don't know. I believe that they should just stick to good writing, and I hope that they give him more Ahsoka. I hope they give him more Bo-Katan. I hope they give him more Gina Carano. This is working. Whatever they're doing right now, it's working. And if woman wants to feel represented, this is the moment. I haven't seen this good streak of amazing female character leads all together in one series.
We're
mind blowing.
I thought you were just going to say in terms of the year, in which case I'd sort of agree. There's a lot of stuff on the up and up, but
and now with Queen's Gambit, I mean, this year has been amazing for female leads. I don't know. I mean, that's my perspective.